Okay, students, this is our next video in our study of the standards and objectives for La Relación. The first standard that we're beginning with is reading the nonfiction report, which we talked about in the last video as being a subgenre of nonfiction. So now we're trying to understand exactly how do we read a nonfiction report. Now, the first thing that I should tell you is that I should remind you guys actually is that as we were going to school, ever since we were in kindergarten to even now, we've learned that anything that comes out of a textbook, anything that we read that's supposed to be in a newspaper articles that are not feature stories, of course, or on the opinion page, we learn that we have to regard them as being true. Okay, because they're just the facts. People are just reporting the facts, so they're objective. Let me write that word down because it is a vocabulary word. The word objective. Objective, basically, you have your own definition, which you guys copied on several videos ago. But objective basically means free of opinion. Let me spell this correctly first. Or free of personal evaluation. Okay, that's what basically objective means. In other words, there is no subjectivity. Okay, subjective. Obviously, it's opinion, personal evaluation. That means it's not necessarily the facts. Okay, so it's the opposite. These two are opposites of each other, and we learn that in nonfiction texts, especially like, for instance, in our textbook and magazines, those articles that we read, we're supposed to, like I said before, we're supposed to come to believe that those things are true. But you know what? The truth is, now that you guys are older and you guys can reason and think more critically, one thing that you should understand is sometimes, if you haven't had an experience with it, maybe this is what you should know, that sometimes the truth, what we regard as true, sometimes has a limp. What do I mean by truth has a limp? That means that some things that we regard as true, we actually learn that sometimes they're not always a truth. For instance, let me give you an example here. Let me show you guys with the bamboo tablet here. You have a truth. I'm just going to sit in a very trivial manner show you what I mean. You have a truth like 2 plus 2 equals 4. Okay? That is a truth. That's a mathematical truth. Wherever you go, 2 plus 2 is going to equal 4. But in real life, we know that it varies, that truth has a limp, meaning it's not always true. So, for instance, 2 apples plus 2 bananas, okay, equal what? 4 apples or 4 bananas? We're not sure. Okay, so even though there is a truth right here, 2 plus 2 equals 4, we know that it's not always so. And that's what I want you to see. That those texts that you see that are supposed to be objective and free of opinion are not always so. That they're colored. Nonfiction texts can be colored by people's opinions, by the authors' assumptions, biases, basically their opinions. And these are their opinions. This is what they believe. And opinions. Okay, but what do I mean by assumptions, biases, and opinions? What I mean, obviously, opinions means is the things that they believe, their ideas. Ideas about things. Okay, but what I want you to pay close attention to is this word assumption and this word bias. What's an assumption? Assumption, and this is also a vocabulary word, so you should already have the real definition that you're supposed to learn. We already know, didn't underline much there, did I? But basically, an assumption is something that, an idea, I should put an idea that you regard as true. Or that's true. Without proof that it's true. Without proof that it's true. Okay? Well, let me go ahead and stop the video there because I'm running out of time. I'll continue on in another video. Watch the next video. Take notes.